monument area. All this was separate from the figure that they gave us to mow last meeting. And they just wanted to know if you wanted them to continue as usual, or they just purchase all that stuff and submit a second bill.
Well, I think I talked with the commissioners before we started here. I think what we would like to do is maybe have you call Jerry Swanson and see if he could get some of his people to work on this for us.
Okay.
We won't overwork our nonviolent offenders, but we want them to work.
The next on the agenda is Rick McDowell and Ryan Jefferson.
At our last meeting, we talked to you about the idea of not allowing companies to purchase materials from Bill Clark. And Mary talked to the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor talked to me, and his suggestion was that I pull together sort of a informational history about that, which I did. I didn't give you, on the last page of all the attachments, which are all these emails, I didn't give you all that. It's a great big thick thing. But anyhow, we've got that in a file with all our other files. His feeling was that it was just important for the organization to have that on the ready in case anybody questioned anything, in case there were any threats. So that has been done. And I'm assuming that since you all have approved the minutes from the last meeting, what we could do is just take a copy, get a copy of that, and where you took that action and give it to the state DEP, just to show them that you endorsed it. Good. Okay. So we'll do that. We wanted to get.
Excuse me, did the prosecutor give you anything in writing as far as, or did he just?
He did not.
Okay, okay. But this is in direct response to what he needed, is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
What he suggested we do. I asked him if he, was going to do anything, and he said, no, just have it over there.
Okay.
All right, so I'm assuming that was.
That's what he told me. He said it was legal to do. He just wanted the ammunition in case there was.
Right.
We wanted to get some of, you're into all this payroll stuff, some advice to you on exempt, non-exempt and payroll kind of things. And I might explain, just like we seem to do everything else a little differently, we do our payroll a little differently. When we started out, since we were dealing with the federal government, we wanted to make sure that people were paid for what they had worked. So what we do is we're a pay period behind.
We have a 2-week holding.
We have a 2-week holding period. So we're, when we finally disappear, there'll be one more check that'll come for us that'll cover that. That's right.
They're listed as an EPA on that handout.
Yeah,
so that's
that was one of the things I noticed when I was signing off on the commission's time periods. I mean, payroll was that I was signing off on yours. It was dated as everyone else, but with the knowledge that you only went through you had a 2-week withholding. So that's one of the things we're correcting to try to get nearer to where you are, really, to be honest with you.
It was because when we had our initial audit, before we even started drawing down money from the feds, they made that suggestion. So we were able to do it because we were just starting out. They're the two of us. Okay, Ryan's full-time and I'm part-time. And as Ryan moves in to direct the project, we could have a situation where there could be certain weeks where he would have to put in more time than 37 hours. Because I'm part-time, I can put in more than 20 and it doesn't kick us into any kind of wage and hour thing. So one of the thoughts was that maybe we ought to make Ryan an exempt person. I don't know whether that would be something we would come to the commission and ask you all to do that, or how we should do that. The only concern I would have would be that if, for example, we have, at least once a month, we have community meetings. And the final community meeting doesn't start until 6:30. And then once a month, we have these meetings. So it could easily be, and when we start putting in systems, sometimes we're in the field a whole lot longer. If we made Ryan an exempt employee, I guess my concern would be his hourly wage is significantly less than my hourly wage. So that also gives me a little leeway, and I can work a few more hours, and it's not crazy. But I don't want to get him into a situation where he becomes an exempt employee and he's working 50-hour weeks at the pay scale that he's now getting. So one of the thoughts would be to move him to an exempt employee, see what's happening, and if it seems like there's a fairness thing going on, we might come to the commission and say, how about we raise his hourly wage rate a little more if he continues to work these 50-hour weeks, just to make it a little fair.
So what you're basically saying, if he was on salary, he'd only get paid for 40 regardless of what hours he worked.
Right.
But in doing so, we saw that he was in extra hours significantly.
All the time.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have any problems with it. Yes, no, do you?
I don't think, I think that's probably the way to do it.
Okay, all right. Well, what we'll do, this won't, we thought when we move into phase 5, that seems like the easiest time to start this kind of thing. So when we move into phase 5, he becomes an exempt employee, and we just, look at the records and see, oh my goodness, we keep running over by 10 hours a week or something, or maybe it's only during installation time periods or something. Okay, good.
Yeah,
We'll come with some.
We'll be fair with
Good. We'll come with some kind of a report for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ryan's especially interested.
I also have some things for you. Of course, as you know, we're moving towards phase 5, and we got planning document revisions for the first half yesterday, after much poking and prodding and pressuring. But it's working, so that's fine. We're glad it's on the move. He says he's going to give me specification revisions tomorrow. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'd hope to try to get it done before the end of next week. But I've got 2 things I'd like you guys to look at and hopefully approve for me. The first was this thing about, remember how we had to basically hire an on-site inspector for phase 5 as we're moving into phase 5, because the DEP felt like they wanted this extra person on the ground, some kind of project liaison with eyes and ears that says, okay, this is what specifications we need to follow, this is what we want. So, and I told you that I would bring something in writing, basically with the parameters of the job, and hopefully get the motion to approve the advertisement for the position. So I did that.
And this is reimbursed through the EPA?
Yes.
Through the
DEP,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and I can read these over real quick to you so you can actually just hear them so you don't have to read them. The position would be 37.5 hours a week for a 6-month period. I based the 6-month period based on the idea that the construction phase would probably last close to 6 months. It may actually last less than that, but I figured if we go ahead and say 6 months just in case, that'll give us enough time that we can wrap everything up and make sure that everything's done the way we want it to be done. The second part is the position will pay $12 an hour, and the salary rate will be reimbursed by the wastewater funds. Like, as we said, it won't be anything out of the commission's pocket. This is still all green wastewater money coming from the DEP. We'll run the advertisement for the position from May the 10th until May the 24th of this year. So it's coming up real quick. The applicant will undergo an interview and some site visits to determine if they will be able to manage the position effectively. I'd like to take this, whoever applies and or multiple people out to where we're working, kind of maybe open a few lids, get them, a little bit of, get them to understand what they're going to be doing. Because, it's not for everybody. So I think it would be useful to give them a couple of site visits, give them an idea of what they're gonna be seeing, what they're gonna be looking at, you know, some of these responsibilities we'd like them to do, as well as this application process. I've got an application already completed. You know, it's gonna require 3 references, it's gonna require, you know, all the basic things, and we wanna see that they've got some kind of construction background or something like that. They'll also undergo an initial drug screening for the first time. The applicant must have reliable transportation to get back and forth from the watershed. They have to be able to work with low-income community members, which is actually really important too. I mean, you know, some kind of people skills I think need to be required in order for this job to work out as well. Some working knowledge of Microsoft Word and Excel. I'm not going to be asking them to crank out a whole bunch of lists or anything, but I'd like it if they can be like, okay, let me access this that I give them, and you know, they can understand what they're doing with it. And then I'd like to hire them based in early June. Hopefully, we'll get everything approved and ready to rumble, and maybe installations beginning early June. So that was when I based my time period. And I'd like to ask the commission to entertain a motion to approve the advertisement of this position for our project.
Let me ask you something. Maybe you might want to, I don't know, but I would, you're saying you're going to also undergo an initial drug screening, but you need to probably put in there the rest of the background check on everybody.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, just,
Sure.
I'm just not on this, but
I didn't know that.
I just think that, because we like to, I think we like to do that, so we need to background checks and do that. Just to make sure we're not getting people going to people's homes and have a prior history you don't know of.
Sure.
With that change, is the commission, will be offering a motion to approve this?
Second.
Is that all it is?
Thank you. The second thing I'd like to ask you to look at is, okay, as of course as we're moving forward, we'll have this bid schedule that'll roll out. You know, I've got a base bid schedule on the hopes that I can get this all approved by Wednesday, May the 8th. I'd like to run my stuff starting then, so I'll get this to you too. So my hope, of course, is this. I want to try to run this by Wednesday, May the 8th and Wednesday, May the 15th. The newspaper ad in the Charleston Gazette for Phase 5 for bidders. We're looking at maybe having a special informational meeting. You know, the hope has always been that we're going to get multiple contractors bidding on the project so that, you know, the bids, you know, not one contractor will bid. It wouldn't mean we have to take the one bid because it'll be probably pretty high based on they don't have any other competition. So we'd like to get as many people as possible, so we always have kind of like a special informational pre-bid, not even a pre-bid meeting, but it's like just a meeting for anybody that's new, that's never done any kind of work on a government project before, to come and talk to us about it. You know, we can discuss some things, and I want to try to have that Monday, May the 20th at 9 a.m. in my office. And then Wednesday, May the 21st will actually be the required pre-bid meeting, so any of these contractors that are interested in bidding have to show up for this. We'll give them all the specifications for the project, and then do site visits of every home. So what we'll do is we'll go out, and then the contractors will look at the spots, and they'll determine what they think a price is in their head, and they'll, you know, write down notes, and eventually they'll come back with that. The same thing will happen the next, Thursday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. There's a required pre-bid meeting for people bidding on contracts 3 and 4. There'll be 4 total contracts, 1 and 2 the first day, and 3 and 4 the second day. Still also followed by site visits on all homes. And then we would take bids receiving until May the 29th at 10 a.m. And then 10:15, we'd like to open the bids May the 29th that day, and get this get the construction started as quick as possible. Now, the only thing I want to ask the commission to do is to go ahead and approve this bid schedule for me based on these days. But if for some reason something should change, like let's say for example I don't get my specifications approved by the 8th, like let's say that Friday the 10th versus the 8th, that we can still go ahead and move forward with this stuff, any kind of changes that I need to move forward with. But you know, it's up to you guys. I just was hoping to try to get the project started as quick as possible. Of course, unfortunately, we do have to rely on DEP's timeframes, but we're trying to enforce it as quick as possible. We don't want to be in the middle of August and September installing systems in the rainy season. So.
Monday's May 20th and Tuesday's May 21st, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a typo on the Wednesday.
That was my fault, yeah.
Okay.
The 21st and 20th.
Could ask, why not advertising the local paper also?
Okay, we could do that. I'm sure,
We've always done that before.
I assume.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, we really, I mean, you know, that's our intention to be to advertise everything locally and be within Charleston.
which
They
was,
force us to, they force us to advertise in the Charleston paper, because you have to advertise in one that has a statewide.
Is there a motion to go ahead and approve this schedule, bid schedule?
Second.
All yes?
thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
The next is Richard McKean Day.
And they had, some of the Duval people had asked that we declare May 18th as Richard McGee Day, and the ceremony will take place on the 20th. We got the date now, 22nd or something, it's Saturday, but they just like commission. So we'll have that on May 18th is Richard McGee.
I think this is where I should add that, I don't know what Jamie Linden's
Christie?
Christy Linville. She came in and she said to remind the commission and the sheriff's department that she had requested a Tri-River bus for May 15th through the 18th to transport.
And they have, that's good.
And the deputies and cones to direct traffic and 2 emergency alert signs, one at Yawkey and one at Allen Creek.
Signs we've taken care of, I think, working with Alan, and deputy thing,
They said
You've had something.
what happened? You want to set
We talked to Rick Saul, the auxiliary, and they'd be more glad to take care of that for us, sir.
So we got that on.
everything's covered.
Okay. I'll need a motion to declare May 18th, 2013 as Richard McGee Day.
Move.
Second.
All yes?
Yes.
The next is the annual fishing tournament.
And that's be June 1st.
Okay?
You're first. Have we approved money for that already?
It's in our,
50.
yeah, $1,500 budget always.
Is there a motion to give $1,500 for the fishing tournament?
Move.
Second.
All yes?
Yes.
The commission normally advertises that event.
Was advertised last year?
Yeah, it's usually
Yeah.
it's a half page one week and then quarter page another week. That's
Yeah,
just
we're gonna
what
do
it's
the same
been.
thing this time.
Yeah.
And is that all the unfinished business possible? And we're going to do something a little different tonight. We're going to go ahead and start on our new business. There's multiple motions under that. We're going to include those. If the commission will review those motions, we'll include those in one motion with a second.
I move that we approve all the items in new business.
Second.
Is that an all yes?
Yes.